There's an interesting discussion as well about parental leave, how even today there may be a bit of resistance against a father taking time off to spend with a newborn. Why do you think that is?
I don't know, and it's an interesting one. The owner of the station, CIFU, in this novel, who is an older gentleman in his 70s. He's a bit well, he's a lot old school. Mr. George Caulfield. He's very old school, and he bristles at the notion that Stephen, the protagonist, would want to take a few months off of parental leave, which he dismissively calls maternity leave. And I say dismissively because, of course, he doesn't make the effort to realize it's called parental leave in the case of a father. And it does persist. I mean, of course, a lot of employers are a lot more open to it these days, but there is still an attitude among a lot of people that I've come across that, well, you shouldn't take time off. And then there's also an old attitude, and I'm not saying that everybody has it, but there is still an old attitude, probably among some, or at least there was a long time attitude in radio, that you don't take much time off the air. If you're an on-air personality, you don't take more than, let's say, a week or two off, because, if they forget about you, you're as good as dead. So that made for an interesting, and I've talked to a lot of people, especially women, of course, and I'm not going to say that it's more difficult for men, but I know that can be a real struggle for on-air people when they're having young children and trying to decide how much time to take away for their family versus when to go back on their jobs. But yeah, there's definitely still some old-fashioned attitudes that persist to all of that.
Now, one of the main conflicts of the book, besides the main character's persistent lack of sleep, is his boss, as we've been talking about, and in this case, his aversion to stories about those experiencing homelessness, an issue where you are in Victoria, as it is here in Vancouver. Have you ever felt pressured not to pursue a particular story or an angle on a story?
The short answer is yes, and I wouldn't say from my employer, not at all from my employer, because just like CityNews, we have a sort of a general, I'm going to call it old-fashioned approach, and I mean this in a good way, old-fashioned approach to covering the news, where we try to be as objective as we can, get all the elements and opinions and vantage points across society. We're operating in that traditional news gathering sense. But I have felt the pressure, John, from society at large at times. This book focuses on the 2015 and 2016 real-life homeless encampment on the lawn of the BC Courthouse in downtown Victoria, right across the road from the Anglican Cathedral. And I covered that a lot of times, going and talking to homeless people. And I've done that over the years, going back to the downtown east side of Vancouver in the 90s when I worked as a reporter at News 1130, and then for others. And a lot of times, inevitably, homelessness would be in the news, but you'd realize you're hearing from the politicians and others without actually hearing directly from the people who are affected most directly from this, people who are sleeping on cardboard or in a tent in a park or what have you. So like a lot of reporters, I've approached them and interviewed many people who are experiencing homelessness over the years, probably a few hundred. And I have faced pushback over the years from listeners, various audiences, various cities who say enough of that. And often the pushback is really emotional. It's like, enough of that. Stop giving us this garbage. Stop pushing back like that. And so I haven't faced it from an employer, though I have heard in confidence from other journalists who have over the years in various cities that they get the pushback like, that's enough. We don't want to hear from the quote unquote riffraff. We don't want to hear too much of this social justice warrior perspective. So stop. We've had enough of that. And as I say, I've never had it from an employer or a senior journalist, but I have heard it from some people in the community, the audience members over the years.
Now, without giving too much away, there is an unscripted rant that will remind readers of a certain age of the movie Network. Have you been tempted to let loose in similar fashion, or been witness to one who has?
I've never actually been witness to one who has. I've heard, again, these some sort of, you might even call them apocryphal tales, these legendary tales from older broadcasters over the years of people who have left in, let's call it, a dramatic fashion. I've never had the temptation to leave in a similar fashion because of my own employers, and I've been lucky through several broadcasters, several newsrooms, several cities over the last 25 years. I mean, maybe it sounds like I'm just being nice, but honestly, I've been well supported by news directors, senior producers, pretty much everywhere. So I haven't had a direct personal response, but sometimes the lack of sleep or the issue of the day or, an error on my part or anybody's part has made me think, yeah, I'm done. I just want to stand up here right now in the middle of a broadcast and leave. And again, that's no reflection on anybody I've worked with, but sometimes, we all, whatever reason in life, whether it's lack of sleep or just being completely exhausted or something didn't go the way we had planned, you're just ready to give up. And I admit I've probably had a few of those moments where I thought, yeah, wouldn't it be great to walk out of here right now? But I never have. And I'm glad I haven't given in to that impulse in life.
And finally, Gregor, what do you hope readers get out of the book?
Well, I hope they have a few things. I hope, to be honest, they have a few laughs, because I think there is something inherently funny about live radio, especially. It's one of the things that made news radio and WKRP and a lot of other things that I used to enjoy watching funny, is this difference between a really polished product that you're hearing and serious subject, and then kind of a comic, visual difference, at least before the days of live streaming on video from our radio station. So I hope there's a few laughs, and also maybe a thought for whatever station or service you listen to, the people who get up in the middle of the night to bring you the latest information that maybe you enjoy with your cup of coffee, thinking about maybe some of the personal costs or struggles it may bring to them. So I hope overall that readers enjoy it and have a laugh.
Here, here. Well said. The name of the book is Radio Jet Lag. It's available from Cormorant Books. My thanks to author and radio host Gregor Craigie.
John, thanks for this.